Matt Smith here for 5280 Sports Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. Well, the Buffs finally have their signature win. 41-38, they roll into Eugene, and for the first time since 1967, they knock off the Oregon Ducks on the road. Colorado starts 3-1 to this season and wins their Pac-12 conference opener and answers the question, are they for real? Undoubtedly, yes. This defense is extremely good, although losing Derek McCartney last season at Michigan for the entire year is going to hurt. They had some issues around the edge. We talked about it this week on No Bull, Just Buffs, that was the way Oregon would attack this Colorado football team. But their secondary is legit. One of the best in the Pac-12 for sure, very underrated nationally, and they would come up making big plays to end this game with an Ahkello Witherspoon interception in the end zone that would seal the deal for Colorado. But the talk of the day is the play of redshirt freshman Steven Montez. Stepping in his first career start, Montez, replacing Sefo Liufau, a four-year starter at quarterback, comes into the game nearly perfect in that first half, finishes his day 23 of 32 for 333 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air. He also had 21 carries for $135 and a score on the ground as well, becoming the first Colorado quarterback to pass for over 300 yards and rush for over 100 yards in a single game. The fourth most passing yards by a CU quarterback in his debut. Montez looked very sharp this week. Stark contrast to last week when he went 0 for 7 against Michigan, having to step in there for Sefo Liufau. But we talked about it on the podcast this week with an entire week to prepare for this Oregon team, taking those first team reps, the majority of them at least. Sefo did practice. Montez was going to be better prepared. And to compare Oregon's defense to Michigan's defense is criminal. Oregon's defense is not what it used to be. They do not have the talent that they used to, especially outside in the secondary. Colorado took advantage of that, and Steven Montez played nearly a perfect first half. And then in that third quarter, Oregon goes on a 21-0 run after Montez throws his first interception of the game, a freshman mistake, throwing the ball deep down the sideline. Definitely a play that you'd like to see him throw that away, and he'll learn that as he gets older. A mistake that you can only hope a young player like that can learn from. And then, of course, that second interception, Oregon goes on to score 14 points in the course of 2 minutes of game time to end the third quarter. And then on that Dwayne Carrington touchdown catch, at that point, for Buffs fans, you had to think, well, here we go again. Oregon takes a 38-33 lead. If you've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. But all the credit in the world goes to Steven Montez for bouncing back and carrying this team down the field and through a gorgeous pass to Bryce Bobo in the left side of the end zone, and Bobo with the one-handed catch, twisting around, gets his feet in bounds. Originally called an incompletion, he was out of bounds, and then Bobo, of course, the reversal, it's a touchdown, SportsCenter top 10 play. What a day and what a game for Colorado, who came out and proved that this team is not afraid of anybody. Last week, barring some special teams mistakes, they gave Michigan a really close game, and to go on the road and compete in Ann Arbor like that has to give you some confidence. And it clearly showed this week, where they went right into Oregon, a place that they had not had much success, especially over Mike McIntyre's tenure so far, and they beat the Ducks. A statement win for the Buffaloes, who are now in first place in the Pac-12 South after their conference opener. The first time ever they've been in first place in the Pac-12 South. Colorado, a dominant performance today. Tedrick Thompson with a big game, missed a few plays he could have had, but really kept the Buffs in it late, I thought. An impressive performance from him. Samson Kafavalu played very well. Christian Shaver and Taryn Hasselbeck splitting the duties of replacing Derek McCartney, I thought played pretty well. And the other spotlight you have to focus on is the two young kickers. Chris Graham and Davis Price both stepped in, and they did their job, which is what you need out of your special teams unit, especially your kickers. Colorado didn't have any long field goal attempts this today, and there was a play there in that second half where you could tell that Colorado had that decided to go for it on fourth down, because it would have been about a 40-50 yard field goal, and you could tell right there that Coach Mack did not have confidence in one of those young kickers, as he said after the game. in that crucial of a situation. But the Buffaloes, they showed up, and what was more impressive to me was the fight that they showed. The question is, well, could this team respond to adversity? And well, they get a lead and then they let the other team right back into it. And at what point in time were they finally going to break through and get the win? And Coach Mack, talking to the Pac-12 networks at halftime, said that it was about time they won one of those games. And they certainly did that today and made a strong statement to start off conference play. And Colorado comes out, starts 3-1 in their 2016 campaign, and things are looking good for the Buffs right now, who come home next week, family weekend, against Oregon State, a very winnable game, and it should be packed out there at Folsom. A lot to get to this week, breaking down this huge monumental win for this program. Make sure you tune in to No Bull, Just Buffs this week. A lot of good stuff to get to. We always appreciate you tuning in. I'm Matt Smith for 5280 Sports Network.